What's happening, everybody? How y'all making out today? As part of the ongoing Brooklyn Underground series that I've been doing for the Crash Bang Boom podcast, I have today's guest, who is Phil SanGiacomo, or SanGiacomo, a.k.a. Filibuster Rhymes. Phil is the drummer in Brooklyn's own Somnuri, and a very cool band that I've been watching for a few years. We played gigs together. He and I also played in the same band at different times. So we've shared the same stages in different bands and shared different stages in the same band at different times. We're also both bald with beards, if that isn't confusing enough. Somnuri's new self-titled record will be out November 10th, and they have a subsequent release show November 17th as well at Bar Matchless right there in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, for those of you that are locals that want to come check it out. So in any case, here we go. Phil SanGiacomo, Somnuri, Crash Bang Boom!
Crowds go mad with joy.
Phil SanGiacomo, my man. I got so many names for you, man. Filibuster Rhymes. Let's see. Filipino Anselmo.
My favorite.
Fill her up. Philly cheesesteak. What Drew Max says. Philanthropy.
Philanthropist.
Oh, philanthropist. Like
Yeah.
P-I-S-S-E-D.
You got it.
Oh, that's good, man. I'm into that. And I actually came up with an alternate as well. Filipino Grigio Anselmo.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's like I'm 10 years old again.
Absolutely. I'm all about regression. Fuck progression. It's overrated. And, you know, Halloween is coming up, and I think I might have told you this at one point, but if you wanted to be Phil SanGiacomo over, you could get a little comb over on your head and get some coach's shorts and stuff your gut. And
it's a little esoteric. I'm not sure many people would get it. But
well, you would get like Coach SanGiacomo over, like a little nameplate.
Into that.
And then you could just be like a creepy kind of Harvey Weinstein like character.
It's number 2 so far. Hellraiser's number 1. As a bald person, I feel like that's got to be checked off the list. You
got to do that at some point for sure. I know the bald thing. You got to augment the look when you start losing your hair with a beard. People are like, I hear chicks talk about like beards, and it's like, all right, shave your fucking head. You'll want to grow a beard. I don't care what you say. You want me to just walk around looking like I'm dying of cancer? Like
my great uncle says my hair is growing backwards. But...
yeah, exactly. For every hair that I lose in my head, one grows out of my ear, on my shoulder.
Exactly.
It's definitely not where I want it, as opposed to just getting some on my fucking cranium. In any case, man, good seeing you, buddy. It's been a while. And
good
by a while,
you.
I mean, I think I just saw you like 2 nights ago, right?
Well, let's just pretend for the podcast.
Okay.
How many people listen to this thing?
I think a lot.
Yeah?
I'm going with a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
Like so many, I don't even know how to count it.
All right, now I got to change things.
It's astronomical. Yeah, don't fuck this up. A lot of people are going to be judging you.
Okay.
Your sort of new band, Somnuri, has a record coming out within the next month or so. Mm-hmm. Got a video out. Maybe I hear another video down the pipe.
Oh yeah.
So you got a bunch of entertainment and content in the chamber, as it were.
Yes, sir. We just did our first premiere on Metal Sucks. That was cool. Got a nice, beginning buzz off that. It is strange because we've been around for 2 years and played a lot of shows, but no one's really ever heard our record. And,
right.
So we've been working on it for about a year. Self-produced. Jeff Berner from Studio G helped us record it, made it sound awesome. I mixed it, and yeah, all 3 of us recorded over me playing with no click, which was the first time in a long time I didn't use a click.
Really?
Yeah.
Ballsy.
Yeah, no, it felt right, though. There's a lot of dips in tempo and weird,
definitely
sludgy parts that kind of need to be more natural for sure. So, yeah, we went no click, and few edits, splicing takes together. But other than that, yeah, it has a nice
pretty
feel
a
to
la
it, so
natural.
You got it.
All bush, no shave.
That's right.
That's what I'm going with. And the album is self-titled, right?
Self-titled, yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's not called All Bush, No Shave.
That's not the name. No,
Okay.
There was a lot of joke names flying around, and as the voice of reason in the band, I said self-titled all the way.
Self-titled all the way. I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you mentioned that you mixed it. Was this the second record that you mixed? Your previous band, Last Hours. You mixed that one as well.
Yep, I mixed that as well. That was listening back. I would love to make tons of changes. I've been recording, I would say, demos for most of my life, since I was a teenager. But
on like what kind? How were you initially recording them?
Just like digital recorders, which 16 tracks on a recorder, and no effects, no compression.
Right.
Barely, had no idea what I was doing with EQ.
Right.
Still don't really, but
yeah, it's a learning process for sure.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get good at that, and a lot of hands-on experience. And I just never liked recording other bands or people, really.
Right.
I'm starting to appreciate it now. I just recorded Tower. That was fucking awesome. Those guys are all amazing, amazing vocalists. Sarah Beth. So it was easy, and it felt like fun.
Right.
The first time I ever recorded someone else, it was like fun to do.
For those listening who might not know who Tower is, explain who Tower is, because that is Justin, the guitarist vocalist, and Somnuri plays drums in that band. Is that
used to play drums?
Okay.
He's been replaced since, but
yeah,
they're
bad.
about to go on tour. They're rolling now, man. They're fun band, rock and roll, gritty, good guitar playing. Can't really ask for more.
Yeah. Maybe you were at a crossroads in your career, and down the line you'll end up doing more mixing and eventually engineering, mixing, and maybe have your own studio and make records.
You never know. I'm amassing gear as we speak, but I still feel more of a producer than an engineer. Like I know more about EQing and getting things to sound natural and not just loud for the sake of being loud.
Right.
So that's one thing I've learned with heavy music, especially. And I've had a lot of good friends and coaches kind of be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why does that sound like that? And then, you'd make a couple tweaks and oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. So it's a learning process.
Did you have any breakthroughs in mixing the Somnuri record? Do you feel like?
Definitely with drum phasing. I learned a lot, without getting too nerdy about it. Just, how the tracks are recorded and how they line up is very important in getting a punchy drum sound, rather than just trying to carve everything out with EQ. So that's one of the latest things that I've kind of picked up and gotten better with. So.
Drumming wise, man, you and I own the dubious distinction of having played in the same band at different times and learned each other's drum parts. It's almost like if we were gay, we'd be docking, only like the drummer docking somehow. Or if we were straight, which I think we are as far as I know, it would be like we shared a lady, but the lady would be like a lot lizard.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
There's a street walking hard leg lot lizard of a lady.
I'll take the latter analogy.
I think I'd almost rather want to dock than maybe go the lot lizard route. I don't know.
Okay.
Not necessarily with you, but but that was interesting, man. I actually had to get a double bass pedal once I joined.
Jody just punched the mic.
I just punched the mic. If you heard that, if I blew your eardrums out, it's because I just punched the mic accidentally. But when I joined the band, the band is family. I had to get a double bass pedal, which I had never done before. So there was years of trying to acclimate to that whole process, which has still been a stubborn one for me.
I think you've picked it up pretty damn quick. I mean, it's see you live playing Beast Modulus, and I'm like, man, that guy's come a long way with that double bass. I mean, I'm still, feel like I'm pretty good and can play, a good number of patterns, but speed, I'm always looking for that, insane speed that I see some guys have that I just think they're just made for that. You know what I mean?
It seems that way, although I think a lot of them would tell you that they probably sat for days and days and days, incrementally increasing the BPMs, and just playing it, and dedicating yourself to that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that in me. I mean, I like to
Clearly
practice.
I don't. Otherwise, I'd definitely be better at it. So, man, I've been trying to do this alternate project, and I'm thinking about going down the Craigslist route to try to find people. And sometimes when you do that, you find some crazy characters. I mean, apparently people go to Craigslist for sex. Can you fucking imagine that?
I can believe that. Yeah, it seems more natural than Tinder nowadays. Just go right to Craigslist.
Just go right to Craigslist?
Yeah, I want to bring that back.
Okay.
Yeah, this left and right swiping.
You can get some beat up furniture, an instrument that doesn't work, a blender, or an amputee to have sex with. Those are the 4 or 5 things I look for when I go to Craigslist, man. Yeah. Maybe a vintage drum set thrown in there or something like that. But you never know what you're going to get with Craigslist, man. I know you and I have spoken about this before. You have a pretty funny experience with auditioning people via Craigslist.
I have several stories about that. I'm glad I'm out of that world, to be honest, because
it sucks.
It never really felt right, Even if it's an acquaintance you're meeting through someone else, it feels more natural than just a random person, because so much about playing music is not just playing your instrument. It's kind of who you are as well, and
sure.
You get some fucking characters from that old website, one guy just smelled horribly, and it was
rolled
very
into
pungent.
A tiny little space, smelling crazy.
Oh, just smelled awful, and I think we lasted 5 minutes with him, my old band. Another guy didn't learn the lyrics to a Soundgarden song, so he just said "licking my balls" over the whole thing instead.
Just over and over,
which is very hard to concentrate to if you're trying to listen for nuances of the guy's voice or whatever, and he's just singing "licking my balls." Okay.
It's fucking funny.
In hindsight,
it's funny now.
Yeah.
Definitely funny now. I mean, right. I love it. I would kind of wish that y'all would have recorded that. That would have been pretty amazing if you would have recorded some of those auditions.
I think it's a deep cut. I think it's
somewhere in
probably
there.
On a Zoom recorder somewhere.
That's amazing. Any other ones that strike your mind as being totally ridiculous? Have you gone on a weird Craigslist audition yourself?
Yeah, I've gone to several and taught people how to tune their guitars.
Dude, I had the same experience.
It's brutal.
I bicycled from Brooklyn, I think, into the city, and it was in Midtown, and hauled ass there. So I was just fucking jacked. My heartbeat was jacked. I'd learn all the songs, roll in there. It's one of those hourly rehearsal spaces that suck.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, roll in. Play the songs a million miles an hour. The dudes were sweating. They were a little on the chunky side. And they just looked like they'd been running on a treadmill. Yeah. And at one point I was like, dude, you're out of tune. You're out of tune. Can you guys please tune your guitars? And I think they were so put off by that the drummer, that's supposedly the tone deaf guy in the room, was making them sweat and telling them their guitars were out of tune.
As a guitarist myself, it's my second instrument. No guitarist wants to hear any input from a drummer about tuning, anything that's oh, that note doesn't work there.
Right.
You're going to get that sideways glare. So
absolutely.
But yeah, with trying out for people, I had a couple of those instances, not to sound snobby, because, we all start at a certain, point. Some people start this later in life, and
some people just suck eternally.
And some people just suck, and that's okay too. Go, hang out with your friends and drink beers and play music,
Yeah.
But when you say, you want to tour the world and stuff like that, I assume you're at a certain level,
right,
and can tune your guitar. That's the
bare minimum.
Basic.
Bro, that's what tuners are for.
Yeah.
That's right. You can use it too.
This guy's like, I don't like tuna.
No, tunas. Oh, look, he's got himself jokes. We got a jokester. So that was what happened. You went in, and it was an awkward audition, and then you told the guys that they.
Yeah, luckily I met Steve from Family shortly after getting into that.
That was
Craigslist
Craigslist,
world.
right?
Yeah, that was Craigslist.
As was all the other members. That was a Craigslist band.
Yep, that's a Craigslist supergroup.
Wow.
And, supergroup of weirdos. But yeah, no, that, and since then I've kind of 10 years of playing music in New York City, just met people. So thankfully haven't had to go that route in quite some time. So,
yeah, I hear you, man. It's amazing the shitty gigs and the shitty auditions and everything, and then you kind of get into a at least a nice little solid place. Not to say you're complacent necessarily, but at least it just doesn't suck, and it's
Right.
just like a morale killer every time you step out the door.
I mean, you do have to remind yourself that there's new people moving here all the time. You can't forget that some kid has moved here, wants to play music, and can shred the shit out of everyone else around, and just no one knows who he is. That's kind of the beauty of living in New York. So
what in playing and coming up and learning new music and playing new venues and kind of navigating a town and shit, you inevitably end up playing some pretty strange shows. This is a recurring question that I ask a lot on the podcast. What is one of the more ridiculous shows that you played?
I would have to say not so much the show being ridiculous, but maybe the bills being just way off.
God.
My old band, we were on tour and we got booked at an abandoned bank and got paid no money, ironically. Right. So abandoned bank, no money involved, and just playing with jam bands. And we were like a 4-piece, 90s rock, kind of shoegazy thing. Yeah, we did not go over well. There was didgeridoos involved and just not put on the right bill. And maybe had like 2 or 3 people that were stoked on it, but other than that, everyone else being like, what the fuck is this? Kind of thing. So those are always funny shows, but I think everyone has the playing to 2 people show. Those kind of just suck.
It still happens.
Yeah. If as long as they buy some merch, which in my experience they have, that makes it okay. Nothing too out of the ordinary besides the bank.
I played a show with our band family down in Texas. It was a outside of showcase, like a South by Southwest thing that I think had hooked up somehow, and we were supposed to go on at like 3 a.m. It was on a camp. It was in a campground. There was an outdoor little stage set up with a PA, and we went on, and there were dudes up in trees. And there were like some dudes out in the woods, and there was the smell of bacon, and they were like, dudes were coming out of the woods being like, bro, we got pounds of bacon. We're just cooking bacon in the woods. And so there was all this wafting bacon smells and like dudes and trees, and we played like a few people sitting at like a little picnic table and I had to go to the airport like an hour later. Oh God.
Yeah, South by is good for some of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Done like 3 shows in one day thing.
Oh yeah. I think at least 2 of the other members in the band ended up staying there, and both of them puked that night, as I recall.
Yeah, perfect.
Seems like an appropriate way of ending that night, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure, you guys weren't on shrooms.
There might have been those guys might have been. They might have stayed and being on mushrooms in the woods and fucking eating like absurd amounts of bacon. It's disgusting. Jesus Christ, man. Well, tell me a little bit about Somnuri. How did this band come about, and what the fuck does the band name mean, man?
So that one's still it's being figured out as we go. I've talked to it's a apparently Romanian word, and the word som meaning sleep in Latin, and I think it's derived from that. But Somnuri, I asked a Romanian girl one time at a show, and
was she at the Somnuri show?
She was at a Somnuri show. And actually another Romanian guy has told us something similar, although he was not as passionate about his answer. So she told me that it's a past tense of multiple people sleeping. So as to say, they all slept.
Right.
Multiple times.
The eternal sleep? That kind of sounds like death.
Yeah, something like that. And I think that's kind of what the band in general, if you look at our album cover, the all the styles kind of being mixed together. I kind of like that analogy for it being similar to dreams or nightmares, or having that kind of feel of being all over the place, almost David Lynch-esque.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how I think of it anyways.
How did y'all come together? Because I know you all played in different bands, but...
Yeah, Justin, the guitarist, vocalist, is actually a really killer drummer, and he played for a band Bezor, a band called Wizardry, really good metal drummer, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Crazy fast double bass.
Yeah.
Just a monster. But he had a lot of riffs written. He's a guitarist as well, obviously, and he had all these riffs, and he kind of, knew me through Last Hours, my old band, and we had played shows together, in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of just bounced some riffs off me, and I really liked it right away. I was like, this is like really sludgy. I've been waiting to do something like this, something where I can kind of just let go and play and not be so concerned with is this too busy and that kind of stuff, because it's something I'm conscious of quite a bit as a drummer. I want to always be in the pocket. I feel like that's my forte for sure.
Yeah,
it's
no doubt.
just playing functional, heavy, solid grooves. Like it's
I think it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I shoot for that. I still love learning licks that I'll probably never play in a band. That's I love that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
Vinnie Colaiuta licks and,
Sure.
and the like. But as far as like playing in bands, I've always just kind of gravitated towards functionality and trying to be in the moment and be on time. I know that
Right.
sounds like super oversimplified, but
Yeah.
I just watch so many drummers and just like you're just like a tiny bit ahead of the beat, and it's affecting everything, and that's kind of where I think I'm my strengths, if you will. Drew, bassist, kind of late joined picture.
Drew Mac Attack.
That's right, formerly of Hall.
Yes.
And excellent player, a guitarist and a bassist. So he really filled in that gap. And we decided pretty early on that it was probably going to be a 3-piece, at least for a while.
Mm-hmm.
There was always talks of the second guitarist, but
I don't think you'll need it.
I don't think so either. I'd like the power trio.
Yeah. It's just one more asshole in the mix anyway.
And one more.
Not to say you're all assholes, but
exactly.
you know what I'm saying.
And one more asshole to pay as well. So,
Exactly. It's not like y'all are rolling in the dough. It's not like
Yeah.
any of us are.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it slim and trim, my man.
That's right. But yeah, so he also fills in a lot of texture. I like what Drew does with his pedals.
Yes.
His spaceship pedal board.
I know, it's crazy. A lot of beards. You got a strong beard game in the band.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Frank Beard.
Yeah.
ZZ Top. I'm the guy
Right.
with the guy without the beard.
Right. Frank beard.
Although
But you
although
got-
it is pretty thick right now.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, it's substantial beard. Pretty good beard.
But Frank Beard, I always love that.
I know, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
So then there it is. That's Somnuri.
Yeah.
Beards and I will say that I've definitely seen y'all evolve over the years, and especially here in the record. And it sounds like it's coming together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So congratulations.
Thanks, man.
As an Italian New Yorker, did you have like the prerequisite pizza oven on your carport? I believe that's a common thing with Italian New Yorkers.
More so my grandmother's pizza back home, just
Yeah.
the grandma slices.
Yeah.
She made that.
Did she? Your
Yeah.
grandma made grandma slices.
Yeah, that's a thing here. But
I love
was
grandma
like,
slices.
That's my grandmother's slice, a little Parmesan.
Really?
Yeah.
Would she just do them in the oven, or she didn't have like a big old pizza oven?
No,
right?
yeah, just in
Okay.
the oven and cold too. It's,
Whatever.
good
Just
shit.
nice. When did you get your first drum set?
My father's a drummer, thankfully. Got me into it real early on. I had sticks in my hand when I was probably 5 or so.
Wow, that's crazy.
He was teaching me Zeppelin songs and Beatles and that kind of stuff, probably when I was like 9 or 10. And then I got into reading in school. Didn't really like that so much. Did marching band, quit that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play in bands. And,
Right.
And
Oh yeah, once you segue from playing with like band nerds and like concert band, marching band,
Right.
any of that shit, and actually play with people that are like-minded, and you can create your own shit.
yeah.
It's like, why would I do that other stuff?
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, I learned
I did too.
rudiments in marching.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, that I still
Yeah,
use. So it's
absolutely.
it's cool. I just had like the nutty guy, the conductor that wanted me to like play on his hands. Like I want to
play rudiments on the palm of his hand.
Yeah, because there's not as much rebound.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
He
Like,
didn't want you to do like just on a pillow. He wanted him on his hand.
he'd be like, your rolls aren't. He'd single you out of the line and be like, your rolls aren't nice. Play them on my hand. That kind of shit. So yeah, it's
That's pretty
a
bizarre.
little OD for me. That's when I was like, I think I'm done wearing this polyester suit in July. I think I'm gonna play in a rock band. It seems way cooler. I wasn't getting any ladies from being in a marching band.
No, man. Band nerds, no. Not at all. That ain't happening.
Yeah. And I wasn't getting any ladies from being in a band either. So
no, but at least there's the idea that it might happen
exactly.
at one point or another.
It's a
Drummers
dream.
are definitely, I feel like, at least at a certain level, or maybe even with big bands, they're not really the guys that are necessarily the first guy to get laid in the band, right?
We're way in the back, you know.
I know. Stick us in the back and just be like, yeah, y'all aren't getting it tonight.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Start setting up at the front of the stage, man.
That's
Fuck
right.
it.
That's right. I'm gonna change the game.
It's time to change the goddamn game.
So yeah, marching band segued into playing in bands, and then I studied theory in college, which kind of just changed everything for me as far as thinking about music.
Yeah.
Or at least being able to understand what I already knew how to play. There were so many things that I could play, but then I would read it and say, what the hell is that?
Right.
And kind of having to relearn that made me think of drumming and just time in general in a different way. And also, how to play more musically, play with other people, that's super important to me as a drummer.
Sure.
Just being able to play with a bassist, being able to, you'd be surprised. It's a thing that gets overlooked. So
right. I mean, that's the whole idea of the rhythm section, right?
Right. And
although if you come from the metal world,
mm-hmm.
and especially, I mean, I'm a little bit older, but I remember definitely records in the '80s, as far as metal records, like you couldn't even hear bass on them.
Yeah.
So the idea of
I would
a
agree.
quote unquote rhythm section, I guess, if you grew up, or even if even in hindsight, or just if that's what you sort of revere,
Right.
the bass is so not really prevalent that you may not have an understanding if that's what your main influence is. That's what a drummer's role is, to play with a goddamn bass player.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of times the bassist is kind of emulating what the guitarist is doing anyways, at least
Right.
in that
Sure.
Metal world or
Yes.
what have you. But yeah, so playing to riffs too,
Right.
Like I mentioned, Justin's a drummer too, so I think we kind of naturally have the we lock in pretty easily as far
Sure.
as writing goes. So
What's going on, I guess, for the rest of the year? You obviously got the release coming up. Are there any shows in particular that are coming up that you know of?
yeah, we got the record release show on the 17th of November, and then album premiere and release on November 10th. Yeah, we should have a video coming next couple weeks, another video. Couple song premieres, some reviews coming. So yeah, more to come from Somnuri. We're finally showing the world what we do. Feel really good about it. Feel natural being in this band. I feel like it's kind of my playing without any filters. A lot of bands I played in the past, I felt like there was a filter point, or someone in the band who would kind of want to mold what the drums were doing, and that's totally cool. But this band, I actually get to let loose and just play what comes to my mind. And
yeah, you have your own filter, and that's spelled PHILTER, correct?
I was going to let you have that
Oh,
one.
dude, I appreciate it. You
Very
threw the
good.
ball up there.
Very good.
I would have sucked if I didn't get it, and then you would have had to told your own joke.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nah, see,
so
that worked out well. I
much
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Filibuster Rhymes, thanks for sitting down with me, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jody.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in as always. Be sure to check out Somnuri's new record out. Once again, that is November 10th. And this release show on the 17th of November at Bar Matchless. It's going to be a good one, y'all. Support local music. Support music in general. Buy that shit. Buy merch. Put up stickers. Buy records. Pay cover charges. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Somnuri. Catch y'all on the next one. Crash, bang, boom!